Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and that's how to boost sales and cut costs with brand defense campaigns. We don't talk about it enough. In fact, I think this is the first time we're talking about it on the podcast. So, what exactly are brand defense campaigns? We're going to be talking about the three main types of brand defense and what's the campaign, what and how campaign sellers should set them up. All right, welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
Okay, like I said, we're going to be talking about how to boost sales and cut costs with brand defense campaigns. Our guest is the CEO of the Sophie Society. He first stepped into the e-commerce realm after a spinal injury inspired him to create a brand of spinal health products. He designed his own products and built his personal care brand into a multi-million-dollar success on Amazon. He's also facilitated over 2,500 product launches while helping more than 500 brands dominate Amazon's US, EU, and Japanese markets. And I'm talking about my buddy, Chris Rawlings. So we'll be joining Chris in a second, but let's have a word from our sponsor first. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by VAA Philippines. Looking for a high-quality virtual assistant for your business? With the rigorous screening, intensive Amazon and Walmart training, and ongoing professional development, get the peace of mind with skilled and motivated virtual assistants for a long-term working relationship. Hire through VAA today, and now let's get back to the show. All right, where is the prince? No, the king of Blunderville, not the mayor, the king of Blunderville.
Here I am. How's it going, Norm?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, and I can see we are joined by our wonderful Beard Nation. We've got Steve, Drip Fit, Cool Hand 99, and Chuck hanging out with us in the live comments. So, let us know where you're watching from, what you got planned for this week, and we can jump into it. So make sure you smash those like buttons, give us a thumbs up, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe. And I don't know, do you want to talk about episode 500 for a bit?
Nah.
Okay, we can forget it.
All right, I actually saw the email this morning. So we're announcing the 500th episode, and just a few details about it. But why don't we talk about it, Kels? And you will put the link in here for people to reserve, right?
It's right there on the screen.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so 500th episode. We have got a lot of the it's so hard. There's a lot of guests that are coming back and just saying a quick hi. There's panels that we've set up with people. Like we've got an AI panel, Chris Rawlings. We've got an AI panel. And we've got an influencer panel. We've got people, and we're asking people who have been part of our journey to be on just a quick panel. But this is going to be, it's not an hour. It's actually almost a virtual event. It's a 4-hour podcast. So first time we have ever done it. I feel like for those of you that remember the Jerry Lewis telethons, it's going to be a long one, 4 hours long. But right now, we've got over $25,000 in prizes for one winner. And we've got multiple prizes. In fact, just now, Brexton from eCom Summit just mentioned that everybody is going to get a chance to get all the recordings from the eCom Summit. And I know Steve was there. Luke was there, Chuck was there, so they know how good that information was. So it's not only that the one prize, but we're going to have multiple prizes for the wheel, and everybody gets something. So it's going to be really cool. I can't wait to do this. I hope I can pull it off. Like I said, it's a lot of coordinating, and it's in a very short period of time. I had no idea how quick the 500th episode was coming up, and now we're September, and it's on September 29th at noon until 4. We might go a little over too. I think we're discovering.
I think we keep adding people. Yes, I think so. Every day it's, oh, can we add this
yeah.
person?
Oh, what about this? And it's going to be a lot of different things, right? Like we're going to be talking about the beginning of the podcast. We're going to be talking about where it's going to go. We're going to show some bloopers. It's going to be fun as well as educational. So if you're interested in that, or if you want to take part, because we are having a Trash My Product segment, right?
Yes. So for those listeners, if you want to be featured on a Trash My Product segment where we take a look at your listing, basically just review it, give you tips on what we think we could, or you could do better, or what you're doing great already, let us know. You can email me, k@lunchwithnorm.com, or message me. There's only 1 or 2 spots available, so it's going to be the first person that reaches out to me. Also, if you want to create a short video for the podcast and be featured on the podcast, talking about your favorite moments, if you want to just say hi to Norm, or just your favorite memory, just shoot a quick video, send that over to me. We're making a little montage too. So I know we got a lot of live listeners right now, so feel free, just message me, and we'll set you up with that.
Okay. All right. And last thing, we are going to be, or I'm going to be over at the World eCommerce Forum in New Jersey on the 13th. So I'm going to be there for a couple of days. So if you're around New Jersey, this is going to be at the Middlelands Hilton. Just let me know, and maybe we can meet up, and or just have a little meet up with a few people, and just have some fun. Okay, I think that's about it. Any questions or comments, throw it over to the comment section. And remember, if you want to reserve your seat for the 500th episode, Kelsey's going to be putting that link in. He already has. But now, sit back, relax, enjoy this episode, and welcome Mr. Rawlings.
Yo. What's up, guys? I'm here. Let's go.
Oh, my God.
The energy today.
Yeah. Now, people don't realize that we are kind of bonded. You're
kind of.
Yeah, because like if you turn around, you've got hair on your head, long man bun hair. There we go.
I mean, I might as well take it down at this point.
And you're the only guy that I've had a picture using your hair on top of my head and my beard. Now, I don't know where that picture got to, but
I still have it. I could find it.
Oh my God.
I should have pulled it up prior to this, but yes, I do hold that honor. I'm the only man in history to have had Norm wear my hair on his head.
Now, it happened very late at night in a bar. So
yes. And I have a feeling it'll happen again next time we hang out, Norm.
It might. Yeah, who knows? But it was pretty funny.
Depends on how the night goes, right?
Yes, exactly. So we're going to be talking about this brand defense. And, this is something that a lot of Amazon sellers have heard about, but they don't know about. So I think this is a really great topic. And I sounded really Canadian there with the abouts, but, I try to hold those back.
I wasn't going to call you out on it, but you did. So,
well, Here we go. Okay. So brand defense, first of all, what exactly is it?
Well, brand defense is keeping other competitors from basically stealing your traffic, which is what we do to our competitors, right? When we're doing really good brand offense campaigns and ACE and targeting campaigns. But people don't realize how deep the science of brand defense really is. Just to give everyone an example, get everyone on the same page. If I go to my listing and then I scroll down and I see sponsored products related to this product, and I see one of my other listings, that is a brand defense campaign. I'm advertising one of my listings on one of my other listings. So it's like a friendly ad. I'm like, quote unquote, stealing traffic from myself. And the reason it's so powerful is, and this is the crazy thing is, a lot of brands don't do this because they think, oh, like I already have the traffic. Why would I pay for it? There's a lot of ways to do brand defense. We're going to get into like the 3 main types. But it's so powerful because it's the only ad type on Amazon where you actually get a double benefit. And the reason you get a double benefit is this: like, I'll use like a a thought experiment for this. So think of this. So imagine your listing. Well, okay, so here's the thought experiment. Imagine your listing, owned by Amazon, not you, right? Jeff Bezos owns the listing. You get to determine some of the content on the listing, but not nearly all of it. Jeff gets to choose what your listing looks like. It's not like a website where you choose it all. You get to upload some content, and then Jeff Bezos, that is, has the final say, right? So imagine you go to your listing, and instead of all the spots where it would be advertising someone else's listing, it's just a blank square or just the Amazon logo, right? Personally, I would pay for that. I would pay to just remove all the competitors off my listing and have dead space there, even if it looked awkward or if it was advertising Amazon themselves. You'd pay just for that, right? To remove competitors from your listing. That's already one benefit, and we would pay for it just to keep competitors that advertising their products that they think are better, maybe they're higher rated or have more reviews or whatever, keep our shoppers that have already landed on our listing from clicking off. But when we do brand defense campaigns, we actually get a double benefit, because not only are we keeping competitors from taking that spot and keeping them from stealing our sales, we also give the shoppers an opportunity to buy our other products. So instead of just blank space, we actually get to advertise our products. And if they click on, they might buy that product too. So you actually get a double benefit. You get to keep from losing a sale that you would have that someone that's already on your listing or already searching your branded search terms, and you get possibly an additional sale from it. So it's the only ad type on Amazon where you get a double benefit from it. But the first benefit is unseen. You don't see it in the results, because when you look at your data, all you see is ACoS, right? Units sold. You don't see the opportunity cost of what would have happened otherwise when a competitor would have stolen your product. So that's why people get mixed up with this. You can't measure it the same way that you would measure a normal campaign. It's not just about the ACoS that you hit. It's not just about the sales that you get. It's about the sales that you kept your competitors from getting. It's about the sales that you would have lost from the listing they had already landed on from clicking a whole different ad or an organic search term. So, and it's very difficult to measure that, but that is the case. So you get a total double benefit from it, which is why it's so powerful.
Yeah, it's when we talk about brand defense, I've talked to some of my clients about it, and I hear, "Oh, it's so expensive." I can't afford it. Well,
Common.
it's not the right answer.
No.
You can't not afford to do it.
Exactly. It's the best real estate on Amazon you can get. And people, most sellers that we work with, because we do PPC for brands that partner with us to take over their PPC. I haven't come across one that had it set up properly yet.
Really?
Yeah, because there's multiple different types of brand defense, right? The first broad category way that you can section it off is keyword defense and ASIN defense. Those are the two really big buckets. So keyword defense, we talk about that first, right? Someone searches, if I have a brand and it's Chris's Bluetooth headphones, that's the name of the brand, Chris's Bluetooth headphones. My keyword defense is advertising on search to show up top of search with my ads when someone searches specifically for my brand. And this is where, brand owners go, hell no, they're already searching for me. Why would I pay for that click? I get it for free. They're searching for me. Obviously, they're going to find me. But the problem with that line of reasoning is that some portion of them are being taken away by your competitors. And again, this is an unseen loss. You can't measure this. You don't really know how many people are searching for your brand and organically, and then not looking at you and clicking a competitor's ad. So inside keyword defense, you want to own as many of those ad spots as you possibly can. And there's a lot, right? So there's sponsored product ads that show up in keyword search terms. And that's the first few sponsored results that look like regular organic listings. That's the main keyword defense. But then there's also sponsored brand keyword targeted defense, where you're showing your own video for your own branded search terms. And there's even sponsored display defense. So you want to have it all. And it's actually the same thing once you get into ASIN land, where you want to have as many of these placements as possible, because Amazon has come out with so many placements recently. In the last 2 years,
Hmm.
I mean, the ecosystem has like fractally grown like a tree, like every branch became like 5 branches. So now, on a listing, you can have sponsored brand video ads, sponsored display video ads, sponsored display custom image ads. And there are competitors that are doing brand offense on our listings that are targeted specifically to get them off of our particular listing. And this is why, like, once you start getting into the ninja PPC stuff, you start seeing what people are doing to you, because once you get into like the tactics that are like almost evil, like, I'll give you an example. I can create a custom image sponsored display ad that only highlights one feature of my product that I know some portion of my competitors don't have, but that my shoppers highly value. And we have an example of this with a garments company where we showed how it packs. And there are other ones that don't pack this way.
Hmm.
And we used a custom image ad only targeting the other ASINs in our competitive landscape that don't do it. And we absolutely cleaned up. We had to split test a number of different images to get it right, but we totally cleaned up once we nailed it, because we know that it's what shoppers value. So, and I mean, that sucks for them, right? Because they paid the expensive top of search click to get a shopper onto their listing. And now they're on their turf, and their only job is to sell with their listing content to get them to actually buy. And we just sniped them for a cheap click, a cheap, like, ASIN targeted sponsored display click. So we made them pay the high cost per click by advertising top of search, win the click. And then once they were on the listing, we just pulled them off with like a much cheaper click, and got them onto our listing. So it sucks for them, great for us. We can end up with a really low ACoS sales if you really nail this custom creative. But if that brand had good sponsored defense going on, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Right.
If they were, as long as they were, showing and placing and had the right bids.
As you were talking about these 3 different types, I started thinking about 2 different areas which could be also considered brand defense, but not through any of the ads. One is the newer version widget. If you can apply for that, that's going to push down the ad. And also virtual bundles, right? If you add your virtual bundles, that whole carousel is going to go across, and those sponsored ads go below the fold. So have you ever thought about that?
Norm, I don't know if something cosmic happened when you wore my hair, or we just like we mind melded like avatars when they're like tentacles meet or something, but you literally took the words out of my mouth. And that's 100% right. This is where, like, we think of things very differently inside my company. We actually run a weekly PPC mastermind where we spend 2 hours going over all our accounts and going over new strategies that we're testing and stuff like that. And for us, we don't have a clear line between what is technically PPC and what's not. Like, it's strange for people when they get into our ecosystem to hear us talk, because when we're talking brand defense, we will blur PPC brand defense with organic brand defense. And that is one of the strategies, the 2 of the strategies that you just mentioned. Virtual bundles actually takes up a lot in some categories. It takes up most of the screen.
Mhm.
It's like a huge portion of the screen, and you're pushing people out. And I don't know. Can I share screen on this or no?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
all you have
cool.
to do is click present and then
Got
share
it.
screen.
Yeah, because I have a cool visual that I created for this. I happen to have it up. I wasn't planning to do this, but I happen to have it up here. So I'll show you why this is so powerful. Now just let me know when you can see my screen.
All right, we see it. Now you're going to have to describe it because this is mostly
Yeah.
a podcast.
Yeah, so I'll describe it. I'll describe it for the people who
Sure.
are just listening. So what we're looking at here is I manually exported one full scroll of a listing top to bottom.
Okay.
And I cut it into 4 sections. and put the sections next to each other because it's too long to really see. Like a listing is very, very
Right.
long. So I cut it up into 4 sections, put the sections next to each other. There's section 1, 2, 3, and 4. And together they make one whole listing, top to bottom. And what I've done here is I've highlighted all the sections that don't belong to the brand, that are selling another brand's products, or in some other way, like, trying to get people off the brand. And this, I actually intentionally chose a brand that's doing well. So there are listings that are much, much worse than this, with way more, greater percentage of their listing selling people on other products. But for those of you that are just listening, it's a lot of sections. It's a total of 4 just on the first scroll. And then there's none on the second scroll because most of it is A+ content, which is owned. And this gets to the point that you were making, Norm. Then on the third scroll, there's 2 sections, and one of them is huge. It's 1 full screen plus. So it's like about 1.5 full desktop screens. And then on the fourth scroll, it's again a huge section that includes like 4 subsections with about 2 full desktop screens worth of scrolling. So it's a huge amount of the listing. People don't really realize how much of your listing is actually selling other people's products. It's a huge portion of it. And Amazon is incentivized to have your listing sell other people's products because they want people to shop around and find the best option. But that's not what we want, right? We want people to find our option, not any other option but ours. So yeah. So what this shows you is that the more we can kind of cramp out these sections, the greater the likelihood that a randomly scrolling shopper on our listing is landing on content that's selling our product and not someone else's. And so what you just said is super powerful, the bundles. And there are actually a lot of sections like that on the listing. There's the virtual bundles. There's the frequently bought together section. There's the A+ content, and there's a specific part of the A+ content that I'll come back to. There's the brand story module. And again, there's a specific way to do the brand story module to do excellent brand defense. And I'll get back to that as well. And so those are the main organic ways to bump it out. And then there are all of these ways inside Amazon advertising to bump it out, which is sponsored display, sponsored brand ads, and sponsored product ads. And even inside those, there are multiple ways, like sponsored display, custom image ads, sponsored display video ads, sponsored brand video ads, sponsored brand custom image ads, and then obviously your sponsored product ASIN targeting ads. So there's so many ways to do brand defense. And this is what I said, what I haven't yet, out of the hundreds of brands that we work with, seen a single brand that had this nailed when they came into our ecosystem, because there's really a lot to it. But it's so worth it because once you set it up once, you get that double benefit forever.
Yeah, this is completely different than what most sellers have set up or realize.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so to stay on the topic of this organic way to do brand defense, one of the best ways to do this is by utilizing the product carousel module inside A+ content. And this brand is actually doing this. If I zoom in here, you can see it, but they're not doing it well because this product carousel section could take up way more space.
Yeah.
And the concept that we're trying to advance here is you have to think about your shopper landing on your listing almost as though it's like a monkey randomly scrolling on their phone. 75% or more of the traffic on your listing is from mobile, first of all. So keep that in mind. This is actually a desktop scroll, but if you guys are going to do this analysis on your own listing at home, I would recommend doing it with the mobile version because that's where most of the traffic is coming from. So when people scroll on their phones, they don't scroll chronologically from top to bottom and read everything on the listing. If you watch someone scrolling on their phone, it looks like they're schizophrenic or something. They flick their thumb and they skip everything and they scroll all the way down and they see the reviews. And then they flick back up and they skip a bunch of stuff and then they land somewhere by tapping their thumb again in the middle of the listing. And it's like in probability theory, or in chaos theory, what they call the random walk hypothesis. It's like a drunk guy walking down a hallway and randomly like walking into doors. It's not like this chronological thing. So it's basically you're dealing with probabilities. You want to increase the probability that a random scrolling shopper will land on content that is selling your product versus someone else's product. And one of the best ways to do that is simply to take up more space on your own listing. And so one of the coolest ways to do that inside A+ content is this brand carousel module. And the cool thing about this brand carousel module, this is one of the modules inside your A+ content, is that it creates these mini listings. These are actually clickable mini listings with the primary image and a headline. And this section, which they just have as 3 checkboxes, that can actually be also a mini listing, like text for the mini listing. You can set up this comparison table any way you want, and you can have over half a dozen different fields. And you can put text in there, not just checkboxes. So you can actually craft a tiny miniature listing for 6 or more of your products and sell them on your listing for free. It's basically like free Amazon PPC advertising when you do this, because I mean, the shopper doesn't know the difference between an ad and this. Looks the same to them, right? It's just a product with the title and it's a description. It's like, okay, they're just as likely to click on this as they are an ad. So it's basically like free brand defense doing this.
You know, Chris, I saw like that carousel we were just looking at. I was just looking for a travel router. Okay. And the company I was looking at had all different versions, and they did a horrible job. Just a horrible job. So all it was were these square, you know what a travel router looks like. It's just a square router. Yeah. And anyways, they were all, I said anyways too many. Kels, you got to keep track of those. We're tracking how many times I say anyways in a podcast. So
Anyway.
there he goes. Okay. All right, Kels. So there are these square routers, and they had a series of about 4 or 5 of them, and they were the same size and had their models underneath each one. And they had not questions, but a little bit of text. But who the hell knew what this was about? They didn't sell. They had an opportunity to upgrade. I was looking at the lowest quality one that was on their listing. I was trying to find the best. I wanted to spend more money. I wanted and I could not tell off of that comparison. And this is a larger company, and I couldn't believe who must have set this up was missing out on a major opportunity to sell more of their product.
That's pretty crazy, right? It's actually funny. Some of the biggest brands on Amazon are doing the worst with some of these strategies, which is like, sometimes I'm kind of grateful for that. I'm like, okay, phew, all right, good. Still room for the nimble, medium-sized brands to really like gain footholds here, because so much of Amazon's results and like ranking listings are not fully optimized. Right.
Okay. We are exactly at the bottom of the hour. And if you're listening for the first time, I see we have a bunch of listeners. If this is your first time, we always have a prize, a giveaway at the top of the hour called the Wheel of Kelsey. If you're interested in joining today, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people, you'll get a second entry. And we've got a great giveaway today. Chris, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah. So for the 3rd time ever, we're hosting the Profitable PPC Challenge. This is a 5-day event. It starts on September 18th. That basically guarantees for a brand owner that they come out of these 5 days, if they join and they show up each day, completely transformed in their ability to produce results with PPC for their brand. And we've done this 2 times before. It completely sold out both times, which makes these tickets pretty valuable because we actually cap it and we don't let any overflow in. And the reason is because we have a whole bunch of mentors that join, and we keep an 8-to-1 participant to mentor ratio. So the reason we do that is because, I mean, most groups and masterminds you think of, they'll have about 10 times that, 80-to-1 participant to mentor ratio. We have an 8-to-1 participant to mentor ratio. So let that sink in. We have a bunch of mentors in here,
Wow.
and they have the ability to really get to know people because of this 8-to-1 ratio and go deep with them. So people can come in with their questions. People are up, coming in with very specific challenges with their campaigns and their accounts. And my mentors are like recording looms and recording voice notes for them and just really helping them out deeply each day and making sure that everyone has their own PPC transformation, because our goal is that everyone that comes and shows up every day and consumes the content and posts their challenges and is very engaged comes out the other side of these 5 days with complete clarity about how to make PPC work for their brand and help them achieve their goals in their brand. So it's a big promise, because PPC is something that people struggle with for years, and feel overwhelmed with and never want to touch and never really figure out. And we promise that in those 5 days, as long as they engage every day and they show up to the office hours and they show up to the sessions and they engage with the mentors, that they will come out completely transformed on the other end and with clarity about what to do. So this is a very special thing we do. I may not be doing it much longer because I'm finding it's taking an enormous amount of my time personally and my team's time, and their main job is to actually do PPC for our partners. So we might actually only do this pre-recorded, something like that in the future. But for now, it's still live. It's a super cool, high energy event. 2 sellers cried. 2 girls cried at the end of the last one we did in February because they were so sad that it was over. So that gives you an idea of how deep we get. And so we're giving away a ticket. We have a limited number of tickets. Like I said, we cap it and we close it off once it's done. And we're giving one away at this top of the hour lunch with Norm session.
Perfect. That is awesome. And it's priceless. Like, you get 5 days, 8-to-1, or the other way.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
You have these mentors in a very small, what am I trying to, you know what, Chris? I say this usually every podcast, but I find myself saying this more and more. I'm getting old. I know what I want to say. I'm just trying to get it out of my mouth. So maybe because of this mind meld we have, you could, just do this for me.
Yeah, totally. I got you, bro. You could borrow my brain anytime.
All right, very good. And who knows, with AI, this could happen very quickly. But
yeah,
it's a great. Oh, here's Connie. Thank you, Con. It's a great opportunity to learn about PPC, to work with mentors and just major names in the industry that know their stuff. So yes, it's not only being able to take part in this, but I would really say that this is priceless for your business. So if you're interested, it's #Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you'll get a second entry. And thanks a lot for that giveaway today, Chris. That's awesome. And now let's have a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by SureGo Marketing. Ready to take your brand to the next level on TikTok and Instagram? SureGo Marketing specializes in helping entrepreneurs and coaches build profitable brands on TikTok and Instagram, and in less than 90 days. With SureGo Marketing, you could build your brand, create incredible video content, and increase leads without spending a single dime on ad spend. Visit SureGoMarketing.com today and elevate your brand. Now, let's get back to the show. One thing we forgot to talk about is, are there any prerequisites to going to this event or these classes?
Yes. So this event is only for active sellers. So if you're an aspiring seller or you plan on getting started, you will not be able to participate in this event, because there are actual activities that we do with the sellers with their PPC to help them get their PPC in line, like live, as we go through the 5 days.
All right, great. Okay. Now I know we went through a few things kind of out of sequence, but are there any hacks that you can give to anybody listening right now to help with their brand defense that we haven't covered?
Yeah, there are actually. There's some really little known or little implemented ones. So one that people don't even realize is part of brand defense, because you think of brand defense as either ASIN targeting or keyword targeting, right? Those are 2 big buckets. There's a third bucket. It's hidden on the side, and people don't realize that it's there because you have to click way down to actually find it. And it is refined category targeting defense. So when you do product category targeting on Amazon, it's another type of targeting, not ASIN targeting, not keyword targeting. It's a third type. When you go into category targeting, you can, through the refine option, if you click refine, you can actually target specific brands. So you're not targeting a keyword, you're not targeting an ASIN, you're targeting a brand. So you can actually target your own brand. And this actually sometimes works really well. And, so then the next logical question is, so how do I know then whether to do like ASIN targeting on my own ASIN specifically or category targeting? Well, one of the beautiful things about category targeting is it lets Amazon decide what's performing best on which listings. Whereas normally you have to target particular ASINs with your other ASINs. So you're determining exactly which ASINs show up on which ASINs. Category targeting is kind of a way for Amazon to determine what formula, especially for brands that have more products. If I only have 3 products, well, I'm going to advertise all 3 of my 2 products on that third products listing for all of my products, right? I'm definitely going to do that. But if I have a dozen or more products, or even like once I get up to half a dozen or more, I can do category targeting on my own brand and then let Amazon determine which ASINs to advertise on which ASINs. And this can be really powerful. So it can allow your brand defense campaigns to have more lean and efficient bids and ad spend because you're targeting the right ASINs on the right other ASINs at the right time, because Amazon is determining what to show where. But it will only advertise your ASIN on your own brand's other ASINs. So it's powerful. And it's a type of brand defense campaign. Actually, I don't think I've dealt with a single brand that has had this set up properly before they came into our ecosystem. It's one of those that people just don't even know exists.
I've never seen it. So yeah, that's an awesome hack. Okay, so right there, there's just the nugget for the day. Although we've already gone through, I saw some comments here that people are going to have to listen to this a second time because they're learning so much. But
yeah, I talk fast sometimes.
That's awesome. It's a really great idea. Okay, now let's talk about, we've got listeners out there. They range from beginner all the way up to, pretty large sellers. If they haven't set this up, what's the first thing they should do to get going with brand defense?
That's a great question. So the most basic and effective type of brand defense that's like the most clicks you're going to get is sponsored product brand defense campaigns. So if you're just getting started with this, you don't have to worry about all the different types we talked about. You don't have to worry about setting them all up: sponsored display brand defense, sponsored brand defense, and sponsored product brand defense. Focus on sponsored product first and make sure that you're owning your own branded search terms. It's likely going to be low volume, unless you're a very well-known brand and you have distribution in retail and stuff like that, or you've just been selling for a while. It's not going to be a super high volume, but people will be searching for your brand because when they buy it and they want another one, they're going to search for the brand's name. And, it can be pretty significant. For my own brand, it's like 15,000 searches a month. It's like, pretty significant. So it builds up over time. So nail that first. Nail the branded search terms. And then once you have that, do ASIN targeted brand defense campaigns. And there's a way to set this up properly. And it's very simple. You go into sponsored products, advertise just one product. This is where people get messed up. They try to put a bunch of products, advertise a bunch of products, and then select only one target. But the problem with that is then you're messing up your data. You can't select, portfolios in your campaign manager and see how that product is performing. So the way to do it is, good organization of campaigns inside Amazon PPC is one portfolio per product advertised. So inside the portfolio, you select one product to advertise, but then put it on all of your other listings. So the targets, you're going to put in multiple targets, but you're only going to put in one advertised products. And this is another mistake sellers make. They try to put in a lot of advertised products onto one target. And that does the same thing, but it makes it impossible for you to get the data back properly product by product. So one advertised product, all the targets. So say I have 5 products. I'm going to set up a campaign for product 1, advertising product 1. And then when I scroll down and I go to targeting, I'm going to select product targeting and then manually enter ASINs. And then in that box for the ASINs, I'm going to put my 4 other ASINs one by one, and then select the box that says exact. And that's all you do. Your
Pretty
brand
simple.
defense campaign is now set up. Yep.
Okay, very good. Okay, now I've got a couple other questions, and the next one is about an example. What's a great example of a brand that's doing this well?
So if you've heard of the brand Zesty Paws, this is one of the most biggest and most successful exits in Amazon brand history. The founder AJ was actually my previous customer at my product launch company, Judo Launch. We launched his previous brand, Instant Naturals, and so this brand was sold for $600 million.
Wow!
And there are a lot of things that it did well. And one of those is excellent brand defense. If you go on a Zesty Paws listing and you scroll down, all you see are ads for other Zesty Paws products. I mean, it's like, and they're really good. They have like this bright orange, bright purple, color scheme. So it just jumps out at you. It's like, you're basically guaranteed not to click off of a listing once you go on a Zesty Paws listing. It's a great example. So people at home, I'd recommend you search that and kind of study it as a shining example of great brand defense.
Oh, that's great. So when people say it's too expensive, you can come back with Zesty Paws.
Yeah, exactly. Too expensive to not have a $600 million exit? I don't think so.
All right. And now another area that I always like to talk about are expectations. So what can brand or brand defense, what are the expectations that sellers, what can they expect?
Well, you're going to be paying an ACOS of anywhere in the range of 10% to in the most competitive categories, 40%, sometimes more if it's really crazy or consumable products can be higher, but it's usually going to be a relatively low ACOS, but not crazily low.
Okay.
So, and this is what makes brands not want to do it, because they're like, oh, I just paid for the click that I would have gotten anyway in my organic search for my own brand. But, you know, as we said before, you just paid to not have that listing clicked by someone else. So expect to have a cost that's relatively low, but not so insanely low. And just keep in mind that the benefit that you get from these campaigns is not all about the ACOS, average cost of sale, for those of you that are beginners. It's not just about the ACOS that you're spending and the cost per click. It's about what didn't happen. And that's completely an unseen benefit that you only end up seeing in bundled in with your organic sales, because someone didn't click off your listing and ended up buying your product, and there's no way for you to measure that, but that is what this is actually doing. So that's what you can expect. And if you get this really, really good and you start doing brand defense campaigns really well on all of your products, and you start getting the different types going, and you get sponsored brand defense campaigns, sponsored display brand defense campaigns, you can find that your average order value can increase. So your average order value can increase over time, and also your conversion rate can go up because you're losing less of these sales, and people are staying in your ecosystem longer. So those are some of the additional benefits that you can get there.
Okay, very good. All right, Kels, I think we have a few questions, comments. You want to start shooting them on the screen?
We sure do. All right, so our first question is from Akatva. I have my shipments checked in for Christmas products. I launched PPC campaigns, but now there's no search volume. Should I turn on all campaigns or pause the campaigns until search volume increases?
So no search volume for your branded search terms makes sense, because people probably searched for your brand, found that it was out of stock, and then they sort of gave up. So you don't have to put the brand defense campaigns live if there's no search volume for them and they're not getting clicks. You know, it's not a super high leverage use of your time for the keyword. You could still do brand defense on the ASINs, because all of the the traffic that you get on the ASINs has the possibility to be clicked off to another competitor. So it's always good for you to have the ASINs. For the keyword ones, if you want to, wait and use your ad spend on the search terms with actual volume, I would do that and get it going again, because people probably just, if you were out of stock for that long, probably just gave up. But if you're talking about no search volume on your primary keywords, that's a whole different story, and that definitely shouldn't be the case. There should be search volume for some keyword that leads to purchase of the product, but we actually have had brands that were brand new inventions that we sold on Amazon that had no search volume for any keyword. There were no keywords for this product because it was brand new. I'm thinking of one in particular, but we've done this quite a few times. So we did this one that was kind of like this app/device that was for personal protection, and it really didn't fit into any category. There was no search term that really described it that had any kind of search volume. And what we did was we ended up going hard on the browse style ads. So this is ads that pop up mostly on listings, but around Amazon. And that's mostly sponsored display and sponsored brand ads. And we just went really hard on that, trying to show videos, trying to show custom images, and doing really hard ASIN targeting with really specific messaging. And it worked. We were able to get traction for this brand, even though Amazon is primarily a search-based platform, not a browse-based platform. People don't really go there just to click around and see random stuff. They're mostly searching for stuff. We were able to steal the eyeballs because of how unique and how valuable this product actually was. So there are ways to do it when your search volume, you're in a category where there's less search volume, but you have an epic product.
All right.
Okay, our next question is from Tony. I've been retargeting my own potential purchasers on Amazon on 7 days, 14 days, and 30 days. Although the clicks are pretty cheap sometimes, like 30 cents, I haven't seen a lot of conversions, sometimes with over 100 clicks. In Canada, I got sales, 3 sales so far.
Interesting. Yeah, so this is where you've done the work up front, Tony, to find out where the problem is, and this is where you're already on the right track here, because most times brand owners know that there's a problem, but they don't know where it is in the funnel. You're getting clicks, so your click-through rate is healthy. Where the issue is your conversion. And so what Tony's talking about is actually, it's similar and related to brand defense, but it's not exactly that. It's retargeting. So Tony's talking about sponsored display remarketing campaigns. And that is a type of campaign where you can target shoppers who have landed on your listing later on. So if they landed on your listing but they didn't buy, you could target them down the line days later to try to get them to come back on your listing and make the purchase decision. So some of the things you could do, Tony, because that the conversion is the issue, not the click-through rate, is do an audit of the listing to find out if there are unanswered questions on there and try to answer them somehow. For whatever reason, because these ads are only being shown to people who saw your listing and then clicked off in the last 7 days, 14 days, and 30 days. Okay, so actually, let me rewind for a second. First thing you have to do to determine the actual problem is split these campaigns with these different look-back periods into 3 different campaigns so that you can isolate how each one is performing. So again, to get everyone on the same page here, when you're doing retargeting campaigns on Amazon Sponsored Display, there's something called the look-back period. And that's how long ago someone must have landed on your listing in order for Amazon to retarget them with your ads. So a 7-day look-back period means in the last 7 days, somebody landed on my listing, so I'm going to target them with ads. But if they were before that, they're not getting targeted. A 14-day look-back period means someone landed on my listing somewhere in the last 14 days, and now I'm targeting them. And 30 days is sometime in the last 30 days. So Tony, make sure that you isolate those in different campaigns, because then you'll know which look-back period is working best. And if you're doing views remarketing, try purchase remarketing. If you're trying purchase remarketing, try views remarketing, and try all different look-back periods, and then you'll get the one that's actually working best. Once you've got that down, you've got good data. Now you want to do an audit of the listing and find out from the shopper's perspective, if they visited your listing and clicked off, first of all, why'd they click off? And why is it that when you're getting them back on the listing, they're not converting? there's something going on. There's some kind of unanswered question, or maybe you have competitors that are advertising on your ASIN with really compelling ads or custom video ads that show some feature they have that you don't have, and they end up clicking off because of that. Or there's something that's not being communicated properly in the imagery, the A+ content, the brand story module, or the text in the ad. So do your audit of the ad from the eyes of the shopper and try to determine what that is. And also look at the other ads being shown in your listing. Are they all for a much lower price? So people come in the listing and they just see another product that's the same and it's way, way lower price and higher star rated, and they're clicking off of that. That could be happening as well. But put yourself in the shoes of the shopper, do a deep audit of everything about the listing, split those look back periods into different campaigns, and then start testing. You will be able to get to the bottom of it. Sometimes it takes tenacity, but now you've figured out the problem, right? It's not the click-through rate, it's the conversion rate for these particular campaigns. And this is going to be an excellent exercise for you that'll affect all your other campaigns as well.
All right.
Okay, we got 2 more questions. This one is from Wish I Was Mark Cuban. Is there a way to do brand defense PPC if you only have one product?
Yeah, so you can do brand defense. You just can't do ASIN targeted brand defense. So the type of brand defense campaigns that you can do if you only have one product are keyword targeted brand defense campaigns, where you target people who are searching for your brand. So if your brand was Wish I Was Mark Cuban coffee mugs, then you're going to target the keywords related that you'll do a phrase match with your brand name, Wish I Was Mark Cuban. So anything that has that full brand name in it, you're advertising on, whether there's words before it or after it, and let Amazon determine what all the specific search terms are, but you have phrase match so that you know, no matter what, if it has my brand name in it, I'm advertising on it. And set a relatively, actually in the very beginning of these campaigns, it's helpful to do up and down bidding to make sure that you're bidding the right amount to win the click. And then once you see what your average bid is over time, you can then change to fixed or down only bids and adjust them as time goes on to kind of hone it and sharpen it down.
Okay, last question.
Okay, last question is from Tony. Hi, Chris. What are your top AI tools you are currently using?
Oh, cool. Wow. Nice question, Tony. Yeah. So top AI tools I'm using right now, I'm using Read.ai, which has completely transformed how we communicate inside the company, where it basically jumps into your meetings and it creates a whole bunch of stuff from the meeting. It records the meeting. It makes like this supercut of the meeting. It gives you like actions and conclusions from the meeting. It gives you like the summary of the most important topics discussed in the meeting, questions that are unanswered from it, action items. It's really useful. And what we used to do is just record all our Zoom meetings and send out the recording. No one watches those. Come on. Who's watching replays of Zoom meetings? Get out of here, dude. It's not happening. So we recorded them all. Nobody ever watched them. Now that we have this, you can kind of spend just a couple minutes to see what happened on the meeting that you missed. And especially as the CEO of a company, I have 27 full-time employees. I can't be on every meeting, but sometimes I do want to see what happened in there. So it's a very valuable tool. So that's one. ChatGPT is my top. I mean, I still have it like I use it every single day. I have it highlighted. It's in my Chrome tab and it's an app on my phone. But I've also started experimenting with Claude, which is very similar.
I love Claude.
You do? Do you like it better than ChatGPT, Norm?
Depends on what I'm doing. If it's sort of long form, I'll give you an example. I'm trying to write this fiction novel.
Cool.
Almost impossible on ChatGPT, but I have all these references. So I've got the atmosphere, the settings, the character descriptions, and like there's about 20 different things, and it's got to constantly go back and check. Claude, no problem. ChatGPT, major issue.
So how do you do it with Claude? How is it getting the references?
So what I'm doing is I start off by setting up and creating the characters. Okay. So, or the description or the atmosphere. You can start wherever you want. Well, first of all, you have to start with an outline. And then you ask about the outline, it gives you the answer. And then, okay, you put it onto a document. and then you refer back to the document, and then you ask it about the next section. So it might be character development. And then you go through each character. And as you're adding all of these onto your document, you ask it to refer back to the document as you create your atmosphere. Add that, and then you do the next layer and the next layer. And because Claude can read 75,000 words, it's killer.
In the document that you link in there, or in the chat itself? In the doc.
Okay. Yeah. So in the document, it will read 75,000. It'll refer back to that, and then it will provide an update. So I've just found it so much easier to do. You can then take that information and put it into ChatGPT and see, what it comes up with. So you could just say that that this is the information, act as blah, 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 blah. You might say like JD Salinger, and what it's going to come up with, the tone, and, just basically when you're writing a novel, what you need to know. And it can expand on that. And then you can just go back, put it into your document. So
very cool.
Really cool what you can do with it.
The reason that I use it is because of the inputs, the text input limits being so much higher. You can just analyze so much more. You can put a whole contract in there, like a 15-page contract, and it'll take it, So, that's the main reason I keep going back to it as well. So, yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, now you have to go right at 1:00, don't you?
I have a little bit of flexibility.
A little wiggle room. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Great. Okay. So we could talk a ton about AI. I think we are up at the top of the hour. I can't believe we're already, I thought we'd have about 15 minutes to talk about AI.
I know.
But if you do have any other tools that you're looking at, we've got about a minute before we can move on to the wheel.
Oh man, a minute. That's very quick. So in terms, there's so many tools that I'm just experimenting with, but I like, for instance, many of the apps that I already use are integrating AI into it very effectively.
Yeah.
So I'll experiment with pretty much any tool that like somebody recommends to me that they say is working well, but none of them have made it into my daily routine, except for a few core ones, which are the ones I just mentioned: Read AI, Claude, ChatGPT. I also use Notion, and Notion's AI has been has been super helpful because we write our whole internal PPC libraries inside Notion. Notion's integrated AI has been really valuable. Same with Canva. Canva, has got its own AI, which is, already super helpful. And honestly, I'm still using like I guess what now would be called like the old school AI image generation tools like Midjourney. I just used it to design all of the artwork for our new website. And it came out so cool. Like wow. I really, really loved it. And one of the prompts that I used was Ghibli style adventure, and then like what I wanted to show. And it's like Studio Ghibli, like anime style, but it was like very like unique and a little bit more like sharp and realistic, and ended up, it's like a muted background on our website. So it's not like in the forefront, but I don't know how I would have done that otherwise. I would have had to pay for some license, for, some expensive license for like some real anime artists or something. So, but yeah. And then I'm also using a few apps on my phone, AI related apps. I use an app called Captions that allows you to do like read off of your phone, and then it readjusts your eyes so that it doesn't look like you're reading, which is really useful for like, portrait videos.
Yep.
It's pretty cool, pretty useful, especially if you do a lot of video content like us, Norm. And I use Lensa, which got viral at the end of last year for the avatars.
Yeah.
Everyone was posting all these avatars. I actually use it for our photos because it's like AI photo retouching, and we post a lot of visual content as well. So I use that. I don't know. I could go on and on. I'm experimenting with a lot of stuff, but it's infrequent that it actually makes it into my daily routine. I say the ones that I mentioned are the ones that I actually use daily.
Have you seen Motion?
Motion. Is that the one of the AI video generation?
No, it's
engines?
a task manager that while you're doing things throughout your day, it's completely taking over your calendar, your tasks, what you
Mm.
do. It's time management. If you're off and you need to do something for an A schedule, it'll interrupt and say, you got to do this. And so it kind of
Mm.
keeps you on track. So
Very
I
cool.
don't know a lot about it. That's one I'm just diving into. But the other thing, when you talk about ChatGPT and why it's so powerful, we've got all the plugins like
Yeah,
Zapier,
exactly.
Zapier, reading PDF files. Like there's a lot of things. Oh, my favorite is Code Interpreter. Now they've renamed it, but I get all sorts of. It's not just for Excel spreadsheets. It could be for a document. It could be for almost anything to summarize. And Code Interpreter, probably by far, is my favorite. My favorite go-to. But I've got a bunch of plugins that I have now for ChatGPT 4. You have to have Plus, but
Yeah.
it just keeps getting better and better.
It does. It's awesome. I mean, it's pretty outstanding. I think we're getting close to the point. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I was experimenting with this little app inside Chrome a while ago that Andrew introduced to me inside our little AI chat, and it was using a number of different tools to accomplish tasks for you. It would even it would submit forms on websites, interact with customer support of different companies. Like it would do complex tasks. But it would always get hung up somewhere. So it never really it was called God mode or something like that. It could never really fully complete the task, but you could see it would leave a log of what it did. It would be like, called this message, left a voicemail, submitted a ticket, and blah, 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 blah. Went back and forth via email, got an email reply. And you're like, holy shit, we're getting to the point where like you might actually have pretty soon. And this tool was like pretty astounding, but it wasn't quite there to actually be trusted to do tough things. We're getting to the point where you can literally at some point just say like, I need a contractor to like come in and like fix my toilet next Wednesday. And that's all you ever say. And then next Wednesday, the person is there and they know all the details and they've already done the negotiation and already done the terms and the payment is handled and all that stuff. It's crazy.
And it'll be a robot that shows up.
Yeah, true. True.
Who knows? Yeah. Okay. So let's see. It is the top of the hour, just passed, and we're doing the Wheel of Kelsey. You got 30 seconds. If you're interested in taking part in Chris's PPC challenge, he's giving away a ticket to that. It's a 5-day event, and I've heard in the past from other people that it is awesome. So if you do win, this is going to be priceless. So hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people, you'll get a second entry. And Kelsey, over to a sponsor. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by Rebate. Attention sellers and brand owners, want to reach more shoppers and boost sales? Rebate's platform connects sellers with shoppers seeking great deals on new products. They make it easy to offer promotions, handle rebates, and ensure seamless redemptions. With countless reviews from satisfied customers, Rebate is the go-to solution to increase your sales. Visit rebate.com today and start reaching more shoppers. Now let's get back to the show. Okay, so it's that time, and I think we had a ton of people watching today. So
Yes.
Should have a big wheel.
All right. Yes, we do. We got lots of entries today. And let's throw it over to the wheel and see who the winner is.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for entering today's Wheel of Kelsey. We do this every single podcast, and let's see who today's winner is. Shuffle these up. Okay. If you are the winner, please email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com. And it looks like it's Redbeard.
Oh, you got it. All right, Redbeard. Congrats.
Congratulations. Reach out to me and we'll connect you with your prize.
Okay, that's it. You're off the hook, Chris. It was awesome having you on.
It was awesome being on. I love it. I wish I could virtually make you wear my hair.
Well, there is airbrushing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we could do that. There'll be an AI tool for it pretty
Mid-journey,
soon, right?
Mid-journey.
Yeah, exactly. We should do some Mid-Journey mashups, I'll just
Oh,
upload
there
a
we
picture of
go.
you and be like,
Yeah.
wearing my hair,
Hey, I'm going to remove you for a second. We'll be back in a minute. If you have to take off, just go ahead and take off. If not, we'll be back talking to you in just a second.
Cool.
Oh,
All
and
right.
Chris, how can people get a hold of
Oh,
you,
yeah.
or where should people go to check out your services?
Yeah, you can contact me via hello@sophiesociety.com or on Instagram. I'm Hippie Mogul. Easy to remember, Hippie Mogul. But yeah, if you want to check out the challenge, it's ppcchallenge.sophiesociety.com, and that's it's all over my socials. So you could just search me on LinkedIn, and you'll see the link right there if you're interested in it. Just search Chris Rawlings. Actually, you could just Google Chris Rawlings, and it'll show up. My LinkedIn will probably show up, so you can find me there. Message me on LinkedIn, message me on Insta, email, anywhere. I'm on all of them.
Perfect. And we'll get that up on the chat as well. All right, Chris, we'll see you in a bit.
Cool.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's one of those episodes that you're going to have to go back and listen to at least a second time. Chris talked about a lot of different ways that you can protect your brand and increase your sales. All right, Kels, where are you?
All right. So thank you everyone for watching today's episode. We dropped the links for the PPC challenge and Sophie Society in the comments, so check those out. And yeah, make sure you smash those like buttons. Give us a thumbs up. We post all of these live streams as podcasts as well, so you can check them out wherever you listen to your podcasts. We'll be there. And yeah, we do have our episode 500 coming up. So if you missed it from our intro, the YouTube video is now live where you can RSVP. So check that out. I'll drop the link again. And just a couple of requests from us. If you want to make a video submission to kind of say hello, share a favorite memory, or a moment from the Lunch with Norm podcast, you can send us a quick video. It can be 5 seconds, it can be 30 seconds, but we're going to be making a little video montage for everyone. So if you could submit something, that would be amazing. And we already have a couple of entries, which is awesome. And then yeah, we are doing a Trash My Product session during
But
that.
we need the
episode
product.
500. So yeah, we need a couple entries, or if you're interested, just message me or email me trash, and we'll give you all the information there, and where to send your product and everything. So if you're interested, let us know. And yeah, happy to do it.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed the podcast today. If you'd like to see more Lunch with Norm, you can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Like I say at the end of every podcast, we could not do this without our community. You guys are awesome. If you're not part of our community, you can always join our Facebook group at Lunch with Norm, the eCommerce and Amazon FBA Collective. All right, until Friday. Friday. I can't believe it's Friday already coming up. All right, we'll see you on Friday. Have a great day.
Lunch with Norm.